So today the video is going to be about Philadelphia because I'm from Philly. I figured I'd make a video about Philly from Philly to talk about some of the things that I experienced in Philadelphia. Just in case there's anybody who wants to move to Philadelphia from like New York, New Jersey, or from Atlanta, you want to move back to Philly or whatever. I want to talk about a few things. I want to talk about the pros and cons, and then I'm going to add some info in there as I'm talking about the pros and cons. So the first thing I want to talk about is the pros. I always start with the pros and I end with the cons. I should probably do the opposite, but I'm not trying to sell you a state. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. All right, so Philadelphia, the pros. The first pro is transportation. You're going to laugh about this later when I start talking about the cons, but the pros is transportation. Now, the transportation is everywhere. If you're in Philadelphia, you can get on the bus and go anywhere. I don't think it's that expensive, in my opinion. But yeah, you can hop on a bus and go anywhere, especially if you have like a pass. I think they're doing the passes now. They don't do the tokens and the trans passes and stuff like that. I think you have to have a card now, kind of like New York. You have to have a card now, and you swipe that card to get in and go in and off the stuff. So transportation is really good. They have underground trains, trolleys, and buses that are all interconnected. Regional rails that go to different areas, different parts of Pennsylvania, such as like King of Prussia, Ardmore, and other areas as well. Glen Mills, I think. And just different parts of Philadelphia is where transportation goes. It's southeastern Pennsylvania transportation. So it's called the Southeastern Public Transportation Administration. I don't know. But it's called SEPTA. And SEPTA pretty much goes everywhere in Philadelphia. So that's good. That's like one of the pros, is that you really don't need a car. I don't know why some people buy cars in Philadelphia, but you really don't need a car if you can't afford it to get to work and back. Like, I don't care if you work in King of Prussia. You can still get to King of Prussia on a bus. It takes a long time, but you can still get there. And and the cars, in my opinion, aren't that expensive and aren't hard to get a hold of if you want a car. Now, number 2 of the pros in Philadelphia is entertainment. So I'm smiling because I miss the entertainment and the food in Philadelphia. It's of a different world. They have the art museum. There's so many historic landmarks. The Franklin Science Institute. I love that place. I used to work there. I used to volunteer there for my science understudy when I was going to college in Pennsylvania. But yeah, and then they have so many different bars, lounges, clubs. So entertainment is dope out there. Like, they have karaoke. They got South Street. South Street has like a lot going on still. I know there's been like ups and downs as far as the popularity of South Street, but South Street's still popping. They got Fat Tuesdays on South Street. They got nice pizza and food out there. The food, what? Boy, oh boy. I go back to Philly from time to time just to have the food. I mean, the food is lit. They got Gem Steak and all types of cheesesteak spots out there. Poppy's. The food at Poppy's is cheap. So you can get platters. I don't know if it's still cheap, but you can get all types of like pancake, eggs, bacon for like $7. And then like you get a hoagie. It used to be, back in the day, you used to get what they call subs down here. It's called hoagies in Philly. And you used to be able to get like an Italian hoagie for like $1 or $1.50. And now it costs like way more, I guess, like maybe double the price. It's probably like $3 or $4 now, but that's still not bad for lunch. And you grab you a bag of chips for like $1, you good for like lunch. And then it's just the food out there. It's like nothing in this world. Like, it's gonna make you fat. And the entertainment out there is crazy too. Like, they have so many things going on in downtown Center City. They got all types of parades and all types of everything going on down there. You can go, the kids usually, in the summertime, the kids go downtown. I don't know if they restricted this, but back then we used to go downtown. We used to get in the fountains like they were public pools and play in the fountains, and nobody ever said nothing, did anything. Nobody ever said it was illegal. Of course, it probably was illegal at the time, but nobody really cared. The kids just got into the fountain and played in the fountain, and you're gonna see everybody from all walks of life there. They have even like a little splash pad / pool for like babies, like little kids. So if you got little ones, it's definitely a good place out there for you to have some fun out there too. So yeah, I like Philadelphia's entertainment. It's entertaining. It's like so much to do out there. It's so much to do. They have like when you get off at Center City, like when you get off the train at like 15th Street or something like that. I think that's 15th Street. And you come upstairs, or you get off the bus at 15th Street, they have a skating rink over there. That's where the courthouse is at. But right in front of the courthouse, they got like a skating rink out there. It's like nice places to take pictures. Yeah, there's a lot of entertainment in Philadelphia. So that's what I like. That's one of the pros I liked about Philadelphia, was the entertainment. Diversity, that's number 3. That's the pro cons for number 3, diversity. There's all different types of people there. There's Jewish people, white people, black people, Hispanic people, Indian people, Asian people. It's all different types of people living there. African people, Jamaican people, Caribbean people, all different types of people live there. Like everywhere you go, most in Philadelphia. I'm not talking about outside of Philadelphia, because Pennsylvania and Philadelphia are 2 different things. But in Philadelphia, the diversity is crazy. Like, it's like you go to college and like the colleges are equally mixed. You go to school. Now, when you go to schools, I mean, the schools that are in the hood is obviously going to be heavily populated by brown people. But you know, and then when you go to college, it's going to be heavily populated with white people. So you're going to see the discrepancies a little bit. But like, it's definitely a mix of people there, and you're not going to be in a situation where you feel indifferent about the people there unless they came from outside of Philadelphia and the other parts of Pennsylvania. A lot of them are ghetto outside of Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, there's a lot of ghetto in Pennsylvania. Just as much as there is in Philadelphia, it just looks different. Then the third thing that is a pro, the fourth thing that's a pro in Pennsylvania is the healthcare. There's so many hospitals. They actually have a direct link between some of their universities and their hospitals, such as University of Pennsylvania, Temple University has their own hospital. There's so many hospitals that's linked to the colleges. And there's so much medical staff there, and so many opportunities if you're looking for a job there in the medical field. There's so many jobs for the medical field in Philadelphia. There's like so many hospitals within the city. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, the healthcare is pretty good out there. So yeah, I give it top tier. I say it's better than Atlanta. The healthcare out there. Yeah, I give it that. They have a lot of resources. Now, as far as like disabilities and stuff like that, they cater to that as well. That is kind of a difference from Georgia. Now, I think they're building up to that point. Atlanta's building up to that point where they're trying to enhance their health systems and stuff like that, and trying to offer more stuff. But that's pretty much it. Number 5, education. Now, if you are brown and you live in the hood, more likely your schools have probably been closed down and turned into lofts, which is a discrepancy, which is something that I advocate for. We call it, what is it called? What is it called? Gentrification? Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, that's what it's called. A lot of that is happening in Philadelphia right now. So a lot of brown hue people are being kicked out of communities that they're currently from by raising taxes, by changing laws like they always been doing, and just taking lots of profit from brown people. And specifically in University City, it used to be predominantly brown, but then they started upping the taxes and started changing laws and started enforcing laws that they never enforced before to kick those people out so that they can profit off of those properties by more than 75 to 100%, based off of how much they bought it for. So there's a lot of that going on. You're going to see stuff like that when you go out there. But yeah, it's the education outside of that. Like when we're talking about like upper education, I'm not talking about pre-K through 8, but the upper education out there is great. Like if you want to go to college out there, the colleges are pretty decent. They're great. They're up there as far as status, especially if you want to go for, again, medical. There's a lot of great schools out there. I will put them on the same level of no, I'm not going to put it on the same level as that, but it's pretty dope. Now they're expensive. Some are a little affordable, but for the most part, a lot of those colleges out there are expensive, but they are great as far as education, and there is diversity there. So that's something to think about. So now let's get to the cons. Now, I told you transportation is a little tricky because it's going to be on the cons as well. The con with the transportation, though, is less about the convenience and more about safety. Okay, so imagine New York, but on, like, I say 10 is the most dangerous level, 1 is the least dangerous level. Imagine New York on the scale of like 5. So it's not as dangerous as New York, but it's dangerous. There are a lot of homeless people living in the transportation centers, especially underground in the train systems. They sleep on some of the benches outside when you're sitting and waiting for the bus. There's a lot of crime that happens on the bus. People fight on the bus a lot. You're going to see that where the bus might pull over, let everybody out the bus and call cops and stuff like that. People get snatched up off of a bus. People get shot on the bus. When the doors open, they open and fire on buses and stuff like that. People get hit by trolleys. So yeah, and people get pushed into train tracks and stuff like that. So it's dangerous, just like any other, public transportation anywhere else. Like I've rarely heard of taking public transportation and not running into a little bit of crime, but it's dangerous. I would say be careful, keep your head on a swivel, and it's dirty. A lot of the transportation is dirty. They don't really clean out the buses and stuff like that. So you can see why, COVID will go rampant in a place like Philadelphia, especially if most of the population takes the bus. So, you gotta be safe. Watch out, watch your back, look around, make sure you got a little bit of street smart when you're out in Philadelphia, because Philadelphia does have a nice side to it, a very nice cultural / historic side to it, but it also has like it has an ugly side to it as well, just like everywhere else. Every place got crime. Every place got crime. But that's one of my biggest pet peeves about Philadelphia is the transportation. That's why a lot of people have cars. Because remember I said I don't understand why people have cars, but now I do. I understand why people have cars because they don't want to deal with that. Plus, the bus schedule is not 100%. They might be early, they might be late. So that's something to think about as well. But they do offer a lot of schedules, so you know exactly when a bus comes. And the buses, the pace based on the bus that you're taking, they come frequently. Like if I'm in Macon, so I'm pretty sure the bus comes like once every 3 hours, but there it comes like once every 15-20 minutes, depending on where you at. So that's pretty convenient to me. But on the downside, it does have a lot of crime and a lot of issues. Sanitation, that's something I talked about with the bus. It wasn't as clean and things like that. But the city is nasty. I'm just going to be honest. The garbage sits out for days on end. Sometimes garbage gets missed. Sometimes when they take it, they leave trash all over the ground or all over the streets. There's parts of Philadelphia where there's just lots with just piles of trash in the lot. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for you. I want you to get the real so you can make a genuine decision about what you want to do as far as moving to these places. It's not sanitary. Philadelphia is not the most sanitary place. So if there's an outbreak, Philadelphia is probably the last place you want to be. Just being honest. They don't plant a lot of trees out there. You'll notice when you're in a hood when there's no trees because they don't plant trees in the hood. and they actually cut them down, just remove them and just never put another tree there. They might put some concrete there, but there's no trees in the hood. You'll know when you're in the hood. And sometimes you'll be in the hood and not know it, and it may be trees, but definitely it's being gentrified. Definitely, just give it some time, it'll be gentrified. But they specifically leave the areas that are ghetto with no trees. I don't understand what that's about. And you can call and request for them to plant a tree in Philadelphia. You can do that, but they don't do it. They never do it. And it's free, but they just don't do it. So another thing is crime, which I already kind of touched on, but crime is rampant in Philadelphia. I want to say it's on the same level as Atlanta, but I want to say it's worse. The reason why I want to say it's worse is look at the statistics. Even in the beginning of 2024, it was just a nightmare. 2023 was a nightmare. The stats are so high. I mean, just today I saw a video of somebody pew-pewing a baby. So, I mean, like, maybe it was on accident, who knows, but, based on a response, maybe it might've been on purpose. But yeah, you want to be vigilant as possible in Philadelphia. I've heard so many stories when I was in college living on campus in Philadelphia about college kids who are not from Philadelphia, probably from Pennsylvania, but not from Philadelphia. And they come to this college and they think it's hunky dory and they're out in the middle of the street like, yeah, we're having fun. This is so cool. And then next thing you know, they end up getting robbed. They end up getting killed. You just never know. Like, you just have to be very careful out here, and you have to move very smart out in Philadelphia. Like, you can't be just like going with the wind. I don't care if you're in a college town. I don't care if you're in a university city. I don't care if you're downtown. I don't care if you're in the hood. I don't care where you in Spring Garden. I don't care where you're at. The northeast section, the northwest section, the southeast section, the southwest section. I don't care where you're at in Philadelphia. Be careful, because everybody keeps sharing this video of Kensington. But like, Kensington is barely the only spot. It's not the only spot in Philly where you're going to see some crazy stuff. I'm sorry. I less likely hear about crazy stuff happening in Kensington because they're drugged out. They don't really do anything. But like, there's less criminal activity in Kensington than it is in most of the city. Like, it's everywhere. It's not just in Kensington. Don't come down here thinking, oh, if I just avoid Kensington, I'll be fine. Right. Be careful. The other con is housing. So, not only is the housing terrible as far as like rent, like buying a house, but also renting a house or renting a property. Because the thing is, the houses are like close together. They're like row homes sort of. So every house has a wall that's sharing, and that wall is typically not insulated. So you hear what's going on next door. And another thing, if you want something nice, you're going to spend upwards over $1 million, and it's not going to be worth it because you're going to be right around the corner from the hood. And then on top of that, when you rent, they want first month, last month, and security. And the first month and the last month, say I'm paying $1,300 for the first month, $1,300 for the last month, and then I have to pay security. And the security will always be worth a month of rent, so it'll be like $1,300. So you literally have to come up with 3 months of rent to move into a place. And then once you get into the place, it's like mold and it's like roaches and it's like nasty. And the landlords are terrible in Philadelphia. Terrible. I don't know if there's slumlords here, because I didn't really rent when I got down here. I think I rented once, and then that was that, because renting has turned me off in Philadelphia. But like, it's just a nightmare. Like, living in Philadelphia and renting in Philadelphia has always been a nightmare for me. You can find nice places if you go like near Bala Kenwood, or if you go near City Ave, or if you go downtown in University City somewhere, King of Prussia, Altmore. But like, for the most part, Philadelphia, the landlords are trash. The apartments are trash. The housing is trash. Either the housing is overpriced and the homes are like 150 years old, or the housing is cheap, but they fixed it up real nice on the inside, but it's in the middle of the hood. So when you're looking at pictures of apartments, you're like, oh, this looks so nice on the inside and it's so cheap. Go see where it's located and go at night. And go very frequently. Like, don't just go one night. Maybe go like 3 nights. Choose a weekend day, a summer night. Because winter nights in Philadelphia is so different from summer nights. Like, summer nights are a nightmare. And that just goes into this, the next thing I was going to talk about as far as like wanting 3 months down for rent is the cost of living out there is just ridiculous. I'm sorry. How much it costs like to like put gas in your car and like to buy groceries. It's just really expensive for how much they pay out there. They don't really pay that much more than down here. I think the difference in amount of how much I got paid here versus down there was $5,000 a year. There was a $5,000 a year difference in salary. And I'm just like, that's not worth it because they paid the cost of living out there is like twice as much as it is down here. And it's just like, I don't see the benefit in that like at all. So, you know, I say, you know, when you go rent and you go buy houses in Philadelphia, just be mindful of like the utilities is going to be high. The housing is going to be high. I think for an average apartment out there, it's like $2,000 a month now. It's not going to be worth it. The houses are going to be old. They're going to want to charge like almost $300,000 for an old house. A lot of houses in Philadelphia are old. They're old. And so like, I try to buy property out there and I'm just like, it's not worth it. Cause you come and look at these houses, some of them be falling apart. I try to get like a triplex over in Overbrook somewhere. That's another nice area. Overbrook, Winfield. Let me give you a quick list of like how areas around there that's nice, but you still need to keep your head on a swivel. Overbrook is nice. Winfield is nice. Bala Kenwood is nice. Altmore is nice. City Ave, like in that area is nice if you want to get an apartment around there. King of Prussia is not quite in Philadelphia, but it is nice out there. Just be careful because I've heard of some let's get to it. Philadelphia is racist. There's some racist parts of Philadelphia, and it's a lot of them. And just because they're liberal about it, they're not straightforward about it, don't mean that they're not systematically racist. Because there's a lot of systematic racism going on in Philadelphia. But another area that's nice is Germantown. Half of Germantown, I say East Germantown is nice. It's like a historic vibe. And but you got to be careful with Germantown. It's like half of Germantown is nice, the other half is like not nice. But like I told you before, look at the streets. If the streets is all bumpy and cracked up with holes in them, it's probably not a nice area. If there's no trees, it's probably not a nice area. These are things to look for. If there's like abandoned homes, it's probably not a nice area. You'll know when you ride around for a little while what's nice and what's not. I lived in what is that? Wyncote near Cheltenham Mall. It's starting to come up a little bit. It's getting nice over there. But yeah, those are just some areas that's like pretty decent around it. That's nice to live. I think I'm missing one more area. I forgot what the area is called. It's a mall over there too. It'll come to me in due time. But yeah, a lot of these areas, there's a lot of nice areas in Philadelphia, don't get me wrong. And like right across from City Ave, I think that's where the Jewish people live. They have like a Jewish community over there. It's gonna be hard to find a house around there, but yeah, it's Philadelphia overall out of from a 1 to a 5. I give Philadelphia a 3. They're okay. They're okay. Maybe a 4, maybe a 3 or a 4. I haven't really been anywhere yet, so I'll give them a 3. I'll put Atlanta as 4. I'm going to say that I feel like Atlanta is better than Philadelphia. I say that with a lot of confidence. And I've lived in Philadelphia all my life. So yeah, I'll give it a 4. Yeah. But if you like my videos and you want to see some more videos about me comparing, contrasting different places, you can keep tuned. Again, like I told y'all before, I'm not staying in Georgia. I will be moving to North Carolina soon. I just don't know when, but stay tuned, because once I move, you know, I'm gonna be throwing out the videos about what I like, how I feel about North Carolina. So far, when it came to North Carolina, the only place I spent time in was like Wilmington, North Carolina. I thought it was nice. It was nice. It's a little like rural, so it's rural. It's like kind of like dated, like it's like kind of like country like. But for the most part, Wilmington, North Carolina was nice. They have some like new development out there. There's some nice houses out there. It's close to the beach. It was only an hour from the beach. I was like, so I'll be sharing more about that. And I'm pretty sure there's some really nice areas elsewhere in North Carolina that I do want to discover. But so far, I've only been to Wilmington. So that's all I can talk about is Wilmington. But Wilmington was nice. I went out there to go visit family because I have family in North Carolina. That's one of the reasons why I'm going, is because my family's out there. And I'm not talking about just like a little bit of family, but I'm talking about like my mom's like great-grands, aunts, great uncles, great aunts, all that. We went out to a cookout out there. We own land out there. Like we have family plots out there. Like we are from North Carolina. So, you know, on my mom's side, and on my mom's side, on my dad's side is like Florida. So, you know, but Orlando, Florida. So, you know, I'll keep you posted. The only other place I think we went to was Orlando, Florida, like near Daytona Beach. I didn't get to spend a lot of time out there because I just went down there to go on vacation, so to a cruise. So, I mean, I didn't really get to spend a lot of time out there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So stay tuned because I might have some more videos coming up soon about different areas, and I'm pretty sure you guys want to get some insight on that. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.